Hey everybody, Weem here. Welcome to Empyrion. Now, many of you may recall about a year ago, in fact almost exactly a year ago, I did my last Empyrion video. I did a series of about 21 to 22 or 3 videos or something like that. So it's been a year. I haven't played since then, but I've been getting some messages from people, hey, you should check it out again. There's been updates. It's pretty cool. And I've been meaning to get back in here at some point, and as updates kept coming out, I thought, okay, maybe I'll check it out, and I would never get around to it. But recently, there was an article posted on PC Gamer, and it was called, what was the title of that? Unhappy with No Man's Sky, some players are escaping to this space game, and they were talking about Empyrion. And I was reading about that and reading some stuff from the developers and how they're updating the game and some of the changes that have been made, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Let's jump in the game and check it out. Let's go check these guys out. I think these guys are cool. I think I walked by some of these before. Look at these guys. These weren't here before. They're pretty cool looking guys. Make me feel like I'm playing Ark again. So anyway, I thought, you know what, let me try it out. I jumped in the server, or I basically created this world, and just you crash land now. You actually guide your pod down, you hit the ground, and you kind of go from there. Let me interrupt myself. These guys walking by, I think they're peaceful. There's a tooltip that comes up that says not everybody is your enemy, and I think it showed these guys carrying spears. Actually, I think my gun would be shooting at them if they were enemies, so I think we're cool. What happens if I block you? Nothing? You're good? Okay. Cool. So these guys are just passing through. We're going to leave these guys be. But, so anyway, I jumped in here and you know, you crash land a pod, you get to steer it a little bit. I ended up hitting the mountain up there and running down to the beach here to kind of get started getting used to the game again. Now, actually, on my way down the hill, I was kind of going at this angle. We have an alien base over there. It started shooting me up like crazy, so I kind of veered this way. And I've just got the basics going, and I thought I would bring you guys in here just to talk about the game, some of the changes, let you know that I'm thinking about doing a series, not just thinking about doing a series, but I've been thinking about getting a server set up and inviting some of my fellow content creators, aka YouTubers, and I thought, you know what, maybe some of us could jump in here and have some fun, make some ships, explore space. There's a bunch of new planets, there's just a lot of new stuff to the game. And so I thought I would, again, kind of walk you through some of the new stuff that I've seen so far. I think there's a lot of new stuff, but I haven't seen all of it yet. Is this a food I can eat? Yes, okay. Food is definitely a problem for me, as always. So this was very bare bones when I started a while back. There really wasn't a ton to it. I mean, I guess I say that. It was a brand new game, and for where it was at, there actually was quite a bit there. But, you know, we kind of explored that, went into space. I went to a couple different planets, checked out some of the bases, the alien bases. I raided those. I started working on a giant ship in space. And I forgot what those are actually called. I think I can mouse over this here, right? Capital vessels, right? CVs, SVs for small vessels, and hover vessels for the ground. And of course bases, which we have here. So anyway, yeah, I did that in the original series, and now that I'm back here kind of checking things out again, I thought, you know what, not only is there that, but there's a whole bunch of new stuff. There's so much we could do. Okay, so I wanted to show you some things, but I was low on iron. In fact, I was out of iron, so I thought, you know what, I have to go find some. I actually didn't have a source, so I've been actually riding around looking for some, and it just popped on my radar. I just got close enough to it. And one of the things another thing that's new, in fact, about this game is some of the land vehicles here. So we actually have a motorcycle now, which is kind of cool. Helps you get around a bit. I know it's very dark here. Oh no, water! Oh no! Uh-oh, where did my bike go? I think it went all the way across. Let's see, I don't have the flashlight on me. I think if I bring out my drill's got a flashlight on me. Okay, where'd that motorcycle go? I'm actually kind of scared because I don't know if there's anything in the water. Where'd he go? There was a dust line, like it shot across the water. Oh, I think I just spotted it. Uh-oh. Why am I not swimming to the surface? Get up there. Wait, I can't get up there. What's going on here? Whew. Whew. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, what is that? Oh no! A drone! So, drones are a thing. Oh, look at that. Took him down. Now, they were a part of the game as well last time I played. They would kind of float around. They could come after you. They do come after your base and everything. There's the motorcycle, so we should be able to shift-click that. Whew! Now, I do want that drone. Oh, but I don't want to drown. That was brutal. My life is very low now. I actually don't know how I wasn't swimming to the surface, but anyway, I'm going to run around there and try to pick up the parts of that drone. But yeah, I definitely need to get some iron. You can see I've got that over there. In fact, you can see a lot of the metal that I have around here. You can see a lot of 100%. I do have a magnesium deposit near me that I mined some of the ore out of and took it down, I think, like 98%. But you can see the numbers there, 8,400. 33 on the magnesium over there, so there's quite a bit to be had. Okay, let's get down and grab the loot out of here. Now, spacebar does jump. Oh, because I'm using my jetpack, I think was my problem. I'm going to take all of those parts. Excellent. Yeah, I could have jetpacked out of there. I think I just kept spamming it, so I was using all my jetpack. On the bottom left, you can see a meter for that, so I should have actually been okay if I would have just chilled a minute, let the jetpack refill. Uh-oh, is that another drone? It is. I don't know that I have any more... Wait, I should have more ammo for this pistol. The drones look a little different too. They actually looked like drones before. Drones that we're used to. They basically had two propellers. One on each side. I guess we're used to those with 4, right? But these guys had like 2 with a red laser on the front. There we go. So we got some drones floating around here. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and loot this one too and get over to the iron deposit and fill you in about some more stuff about the game. I set the motorcycle down to hop on it so I could ride it down the hill, and it just popped and rolled way out there. So anyway, I'll have to pick that up. I'm trying to be careful though, because if you see my health, it's very low. And I don't have anything on me to fix me. There might be some plants I could do some things with, but I think we'll just kind of go down here and be careful. I also just discovered the cobalt deposit. So basically, we need to get a lot of these raw resources in order to do a lot of the crafting we need to do, and I was about to, back at the base, kind of get into that and show you some of that stuff, and then I realized, oh yeah, I need iron. I completely forgot. Now, fortunately, as I get closer to this, it looks like it's not going to be too deep below us, 16 meters below. It's not too bad. So we're going to go ahead and get the drill out. Now, unfortunately, I don't know how much I can drill. I probably should have made sure that I had more of the drill ammunition. It looks like we're probably okay, though, looking at the bottom right. I think we'll be okay. So we're going to go ahead and drill the ground here. Yeah, I think that's 4 clips at like 1,000 each or something like that, so we should be okay. We're just going to drill our way down. Now, we don't actually even have to go all the way to 16. The ore deposits the ore deposits are pretty big. So I'll actually hit it before I get down to 16, and the way we'll notice is that these rocks will disappear here, these little rocks. But if it's iron we can pick up, it'll actually stick around. We have to physically pick it up. Is that it? Wow. We have another iron deposit. That's good. Very good to know. I didn't notice I spotted that before. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on my minimap as well in case some kind of new drone comes rolling around, or creature. They get flagged red on the minimap, so I just don't want to get trapped down in here with some drone coming after me, because I actually have the motorcycle on me, so it wouldn't be too bad to try to get back over here, but I am pretty far out. If I could actually bring up the map to the world here, and you can see we're here, the motorbike is listed on the map, and our base is all the way back over here, so we are just about on the complete opposite end of the world from there. Now, last time I had played, there's a good chunk of the world. I think it's usually about 1/3 of the world or so has a dome over it, and you actually can't go inside of that dome. It's kind of blocked off. If I recall correctly, it was because they were going to have future things there, like some kind of base or something for you to get into. So it seems like that's still the case. I ran into that earlier. But that's okay, we still have a lot of room on this planet. And in fact, if I bring that map up again, you can see we have this planet here. We can go to this, I believe. Yes, we get the solar system map. So here we are on Akua, if that's the name, and there's a moon as well. And you can see there's all kinds of other planets. The last time I played, there was, I want to say 4 total, counting ours. And then there was a snow planet, a fire planet, and then kind of just a dusty, earthy planet. So anyway, there's plenty more now, lots of new planets, which I'm very eager to check out. Okay, I started to head home and ran across this deposit here, the Prometheum deposit, and I'm kind of a little worried about these creatures. Now, these ones keep running towards me and turning around. They're not red on my minimap either, so I think they're safe. But all it takes is one little hit and I'm squished. Now, there were also creatures in the game last time I played that were relatively passive, unless you got right in their face. For example, if you blocked their path, they would actually go crazy and attack you. So I just wanted to stay clear of them. It looks like we're okay, though. And I think we'll leave it at that. I just grabbed a couple, I think, like 2 of those. I don't think I really need much of these anyway. So I think we'll go ahead and leave this and hop back on the motorcycle and continue our journey. Come on, motorcycle, go! The motorcycle is not great on slopes at all, but it's really good downhill. It goes real fast. And then across land, this is much faster than trying to hop along. One of the things I'll need to do is make sure I avoid the alien base on the way back. Oh, there's a drone. He's going to chase me off to the left there. I would turn my camera, but I can't do it on the motorcycle unless there's some shortcut. So we're going to jam back as fast as we can, try to avoid the alien base because I don't want to get shot up, and then get to crafting some things we need. Okay, so we are coming around the corner here. Going to go ahead and hop off. We'll just leave the bike out here. It's fine. And we are back to base. Somehow I made it with this very low amount of life. So basically, for those who are unaware how this works, we've got the constructor here, we've got templates of things we can make, and the constructor has an inventory. So we need to throw in the things that we may end up using to craft, right? So I do have corn dog. You can see it's consumable with the left mouse button. This is actually a flower. I always thought it was a funny thing in the original game. I was like, really? The plant called a corn dog, which it does kind of look like a corn dog, but anyway, let's go ahead and equip that because we can just eat that straight up as food. And we want to throw in the iron ore for sure. Definitely a thing we need to do. We'll throw in the components. You'll remember we killed the drones, so we got some metal scraps and components and things. I'll put the light back in there. Okay, cool. So that gets us there. Now, here's a really cool thing about the constructor. This was one of my biggest issues with the game when I had previously played it. When you wanted to construct something, for example, I would come over here and scroll back up. I need to make a food processor. So what would happen is, you can see on the right it says computer, control device, electronics, got all the parts we need. And so you couldn't just hit this and make it. You had to go to each one of those and craft those, and I might make 2 computers and say, cool, I'm done. Now to control devices. You'd work your way down the list. The problem is you'd hit something like the control device, and it would require 2 computers. So you'd say, okay, I got that, and make that. And then when you're ready, now you're short the 2 computers that the food processor itself needs. So I was terrible with that, and it drove me nuts. I kept thinking I was done. Nope, I'm not done. Well, they've changed that now, and if I was actually short some of this stuff, in fact, maybe if I move around a bit, like for example here, the core, if I wanted to make a core, it's showing the computer 5 component there is actually a brighter color. It may be a little hard to tell, but it's a little bit more yellow, a little brighter, indicating that you don't have those, but the constructor will make it for you. It's going to make those components you need because you have the parts for it, which just is awesome. It just saves a bunch of time. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the food processor. It's going to make it because I have the components, but if I didn't, it would actually list everything down here and kind of crank through using or creating what it needed in order to make that for me. So really, really cool. So we now have a food processor. Again, that's one of the big changes for me. One of the really cool updates. And the funny thing is that update came in after I finished my series, not long after I finished my series, in fact. I want to say it was within a week. Somebody said, hey, they updated the constructors. I was like, oh no, it's too late because I'm done. So anyway, I've got the constructor and I want to put this down, but I really need to change the way the base works. Now, one of the downsides to the way the building works, I think this is, actually no, this isn't how it worked before. But right now I can only place this here. I can't place it against the wall. The reason for that is that this partial wall here, this part we're looking at, is actually one block, right? So I can't place the food processor next to it because it's technically occupied by a wall, which is a bummer. Now, in order to get around that, I did a little experiment here. I put a block down out here and then put the wall facing this way on it, and then I removed the block here. So if you want to place something next to a wall, like in this space, that's the way you basically have to do it. You can see I can actually put the food processor here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, I've taken care of some of the walls there, but it's going to take a little bit more work than I thought. There's basically, it seems like there's physics. So when I kind of did this out here, I put blocks down and I put the walls up, but as soon as I removed the blocks, or at least the very last one, they all fell down. So I actually did a wall on the bottom and then the wall here, and then these ones seem to be okay. So I think we'll leave it at that for now. I'll deal with this side later. I would like to be able to build right up against the wall, but I do have plenty of wall space in here, plus other space around, so not really a big deal just yet. But I wanted to show you some other stuff. So one of the things I need is a healing chamber. Would be nice here that I could step into and heal. I don't know if I actually have the materials for that yet, but I can't do it anyway, even if I did have the materials, because I don't know it yet. Now, one of the things that wasn't in the game last time I played was the tech tree. So if I jump in here and go to tech trees, you can see that I am currently level 7. So as I do things, including building, I get experience. And doing these things and getting experience gives me unlock points. So I have 121 points. Now I'm level 7, so it's showing me that I've currently progressed this far, which means I can get any of the skills, or essentially the blueprints, up to that level. And you can see I have capital vessel selected here. I can go to base, and you can see all of these things here. So we can see what we can get right now. Like I can get up to gravity generator and offline protection, but I can't get medic station, unfortunately. I'm seeing that now. I thought that was going to take me a little while to find, but that was very quick. So anyway, I can't do that yet. It looks like we got to get some levels for that. Now, one of the other things too that we had in before was the ability to kind of look at the station as a whole. We've got a base down, we have a core down here, and from that we have all of these blocks attached, including our constructor. I've got an ammo box. This I can put ammo in, and the main turret will pull from that. Actually, a cool thing about the turret, this is going to auto fire on aggressive enemies that come nearby. You can actually jump in here though and fire it yourself, which is kind of cool. So anyway, we'll leave that be. But again, all of this is connected, and if I hit P, I can bring up this window that shows the control panel for the base. We actually had this before last time I played, but there's a couple new things in here, and I'm still not fully familiar with this. But two things really stick out to me as being really cool here. One is that we can group control units together, which is pretty cool. So I actually grouped lights together. So I can actually turn off the lights in a group here. Now, I ended up replacing, some of the lights got destroyed and I put some down again. So these are actually like separated. I don't think you can drag. I think you just, I can add to last group. It may not know because the last group I added, I was offline at the time. So we'll just say add to group, move it to lights, and that is gone, yep. And then we'll do this guy, add a group, lights. Okay, so now they're all in here. And I can actually deactivate them, turn them on and off again. Now the cool thing is I've turned them off and you can see power left. It says 15, 16. When I turn this back on, you'll see it drops to 12. So it's a really cool way to manage all the lights. I don't think there was a grouping mechanism before. You had to individually go through everything you wanted to turn off. Now imagine if you had 30 lights or something and you were just leaving the base. And you're like, I don't want to leave the lights on. I have to turn them all off. It got to be a thing. So anyway, that's a pretty cool element. Now also we can actually jump in here and look at things like the large constructor, for example, and I can access that. So you can see I can access the inventory without being over there, so I can maybe pull some things out of here. You know, I'll take the sprouts and all this stuff out. Right, then I can go back. I could go to the food processor, for example, access it, and now I can move things into the food processor, again, right from where I'm standing. Now, last time I played, my base was actually a little bit smaller than this, so moving things from one element to another, not that big a deal. But imagine if you had a multi-floor base, really big base, as many people have made. Yeah, it definitely makes things easier just to hit P and kind of move things around from this window. Very, very cool change for sure. Oh my gosh, you guys, I was about to move on to something else and I realized something really cool. I didn't know this. If I bring this back up, I saw the cannon turret and I was like, wait, access? That's funny because you don't put bullets in it. And so I hit access. Check this out. It just takes you right into it. How cool is that? Look, I'm just standing there. I'm still down there. If I hit F to get out of this, I'm back down in the base. That is so cool. So cool. So one of the other things I wanted to show you guys was the way some of the block building has changed. Again, now we actually have these partial blocks like a wall instead of, you know, making walls out of full blocks, which is really cool. So I can actually like, you know, get blocks on top of here. We could do, you know, these nice thin walls. But one of the cool things about this is that everything is based on the block. Over my hotbar on the left, you can see number 7 is a block. I can actually just right click out here and choose from all of these shapes, which is really cool. I can choose this slope, for example, and get this guy. Now, also, the control for rotating things seems to be a lot easier, at least from what I recall. We now have this green circle down the middle, and so I know that that's going to be my rotation point. So if I hit home, in this case, it's going to rotate around that. Now, I'm going to go off of memory here. I think it's delete. Yeah, so delete has now changed it to that rotator, so I just hit home again, and it rotates around that point. Hit delete again. You get the idea. You can really change things around. So it's a very cool, easy visual way to do that. I seem to recall you didn't get those before. You used like home and end to do one type of rotation, insert and page up for another kind, and then delete and page down for yet another way of rotating. And it was super confusing to me. It was really a problem. I kept messing things up. I just kept spamming keys until it got where I wanted it to. But this is much easier to just use the delete key to move the axis around essentially, and then have a different button that rotates based on that, which is, I don't know, very cool. To me, very, very cool. So I definitely want to get a roof built over this. When the drones come flying over here, they do shoot in here and ruin some blocks. And for those who didn't know, that was a element in the game before. If I recall correctly, it would send drones out to attack you. Or it may not have been fully functioning, or it just worked sometimes. But since being here, I had one drone come out. Sometime later 2, and then sometime later 3 came out. And in fact, it was giving warnings as well, which is really cool. It was telling me that, you know, drones are on their way, so I was kind of had some prep time. Not much, but a little bit. One of the other really cool elements too, because the game has now been around a bit, I can actually tab and jump into here, go to the PDA, and there are all kinds of the tutorials here, which kind of walk you through. You can even see over here I've got find edible plants. I did that. Find medical plants. So I can actually go to the pickup plants and look at what it explains here. It even has pictures, really cool stuff to help walk you through, because back when I played, it was just kind of figure it out on your own. Obviously there were the Steam forums, people were posting information there, but definitely much better with that. Now, again, something else to show you. Trying to walk you through. I'm running out on time here, and I'm just trying to show you everything I can really quickly. Blueprints, check this out. So we've got all kinds of blueprints in here. We have bases, capital vessels, the hover vessels, small vessels. We can actually select these, and you can see an image for this and the resources it would take in order to make that. So I believe, I don't know if these are all made by the developers or if they took player submitted vehicles and things like that into account. But look at this stuff. How cool is that? And you can paint blocks too. So some of these are some really cool colors. Just look really cool. So if you're not the creative type, I know a few people out there. Vortak would tell me this. He tells me this all the time. He's like, I don't know, I'm not creative. I can't really think up cool things to make. Well, this would be for you. Check this out, a capital vessel. Look at that thing. That is so cool looking. And that would take a while to make. First of all, to think up, but let alone then put all the pieces together. So you can actually just get the blueprint, and then as long as you get all these materials together, you're good. It's going to make that. And that is super cool. I just think that's really cool. And they've got, again, some hover vehicles for, you know, ground-based stuff. I might experiment with this, pick one of these and then use it, because it's really nice for getting around the planet with these vehicles. I didn't pick up any cobalt or even copper. Let me look through these. Yeah, all of these have got pretty steep prices there, but I think what we'll do is let's go ahead and spawn. We're going to do one of these. I'm going to see what this does. I actually don't know how to do this, but we're going to come out here and try it. Let me move this work light. Pick this up. Put in my tab 6. And so it's going to shine out in that direction. Of course, we can rotate this. Let's face it this way. Okay, so there we go. So let's try this. I have no idea how this works, but I think we're just going to hit spawn. Rename, delete, open workshop, to factory. I'm not really sure. Okay, so we don't hit spawn. To factory is actually the only button we can select. Let's do that. Okay, so we're in the factory at this point, and it looks like this is going to be where it's looking at what we've got. So I don't have the iron on me. I suppose if I had it, this is where I would put it in and start production. That's interesting. Let's see if I can pull some iron out. So I do want to test this a bit. Okay, got some of that stuff made. So let's try this again. We can jump into blueprints, already be in factory. So you can see we have 230, we need 270. I'm gonna, actually, let's not start with that one, because I need iron for some other things. Let's start with silicon, because we got plenty of that. Oh, did I click the wrong one? I thought that was silicon I picked up. No, okay, cool, it was the copper. Alright. Now, can we start production? No, it's not lit up. So it looks like you do need to have everything in here, and we're not going to have that. Now, what I'm curious about is, what if I wanted this copper back? It looks like you don't get the option to do that. Yeah, it just stores it right in there. I don't see a cancel. We could go back, but that's not going to do anything. Okay, well, that's good to know. That's good to know. I can't use copper now until I go get more. But anyway, yeah, I think that's a pretty cool system. And I don't know if you noticed there, but it said it was going to take 16 minutes, the production. And if we look at, you can see down here, 16 minutes, 17 seconds. If you look at some of the other things, like the capital vessels and things like that, you can see 1 hour and 20 minutes, 3 hours, 5 hours on this. Look how big that is. 5 hours, 25 minutes. Still, that's pretty cool. I definitely like that system. That is really cool. And it looks like, based on some of the terminology here, spawn, rename, delete, open workshop, publish, it looks like you can put together your own ship and then somehow publish that. So I would like to experiment with that too. But you know what? We are running well over on time. I wanted to keep this as short as possible. My goal was just to bring you in here and really just talk about the game, kind of reminisce about my time with it way back in the day, look at some of the things that I've run across so far that have changed, kind of let you guys know a bit about the game and let you know that I'm considering doing some videos for this and maybe even doing a server and bringing some friends in here to record some content with. So I would love to hear from you guys. If you like the idea of that, if that sounds cool to you, let me know by leaving a like. Let me know in the comments that you want to see something like that. I think it would be cool. Again, I've talked to like 3 or 4 people about this. Some people have been excited about this, and I've got some more people I could talk to. I like the idea of bringing, 3, 4 people in here and just running around and building a base and building ships and going to space and doing stuff together. I had a lot of fun with it before by myself, but I think it could be really cool multiplayer. So anyway, I'm looking for you guys' feedback. Definitely let me know what you think. It could be if I don't even do any big server thing, I may pick up here where I left off just to show you some more, in the next week or two, just to kind of keep you guys up to tabs, with what I'm doing in the game, just exploring it again. But anyway, I do want to thank you guys for watching. As always, I appreciate it. I'll catch you next time.